Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This is the electrical video. I do not feel quite confident enough to include any tutorial stuff in here. I'm just going to show you and tell you what I did. I'm not an electrician and I do not want you burning your own house down. I made this spindle here. I think this is how real electricians do it. It made it a lot easier for the wire and it allowed me to just pull up in the attic without having anything tangle. So basic electric. This wire here is called a home run. This is taking power from that panel to each room. So that's called a home run, and typically you run basically one of those to each room, and that's what powers your outlets, your lights, and anything else that needs power like a ceiling fan. Because I'm very inexperienced, I labeled everything on each end. That way there was no confusion on which wire was what. And I knew ahead of time I would go through a lot of wire, but I had no idea how much we would use. I think I went back to the store 3 separate times, confident each time that I had bought enough wire. When you're doing electric, you want to keep your wires pretty straight. You don't want them crossed all over and getting all messy. If you look in any production houses, it's usually a tangled rat's nest, and if you ever have to work on anything, good luck. So here my tall ladder was in the garage, so I had to get a little creative to get up there. I don't want to hear it in the comments. If this offends you or triggers you, this is not the channel for you. But I did drop it, so I had to climb back down and then do it again. Every time I think I'm done crawling up in the attic, I find another reason I have to go up there. Forgive all the crazy hat hair in this video. It started off cold, so I would wear a stocking cap every morning and then take it off because I was sweating so bad. I honestly don't care at all at this point in life, and I cut my own hair to save money because this house costs so much money. So on that note, please subscribe, guys. It'd mean a lot, and maybe I can afford to go to a barber and not look like a damn fool on here. Sometimes these boxes are super close and it's challenging, but I just used my cat's paw and pounded it in the nail. Sometimes you just have to get creative and stick to something and don't get too frustrated. This wire here is the end of the home run that I pulled off that spool. This is in bedroom 1, so I would pull it, put it through the box, and then that room was ready for power. You have to be careful of nails, so anytime I was drilling through multiple studs, I would look through and double check to make sure I wasn't going to snag a nail with the wire. You also need to put a staple within, I think, 12 inches of the box. So I put this loop over top of it. That way if the receptacle ever burns up, you have all of the extra wire in the box plus this extra loop to pull down through, so you don't have to rewire it. So Chelsea's doing something called making up the boxes. Each of these pieces of Romex in the wall have 3 wires in it. The white and the black go to each side of the receptacle, and the ground connects to the back of the receptacle, but you need to tie the 2 grounds together. So that's what Chelsea's doing. She's twisting those copper wires together and putting a wire nut with a hole through it. That way that there's one of those 2 pieces sticking out through. She does a really good job, and I don't like doing this tedious work, but she's amazing at it. Kneeling on the trusses was not the most comfortable thing. My knees were pretty bruised up after all this wiring, but I didn't want to wear knee pads because that's just another layer between you and the truss. I didn't want that lack of sensation so that I actually didn't miss and fall. On to the master bedroom. We tried to plan out all the locations we thought the bed could possibly be and land these outlets on either side of it so they'd be behind the nightstand. We're definitely wrong because the bed can only be on one wall, but we wanted options. That way, wherever we do put it, it's perfect. Here I'm laying out the lights on the floor. Because we're using wafer lights, we're not going to have any cutouts in the drywall, so we need to know exactly where that wire is, and we want them perfectly spaced. So I put a Sharpie on the floor, and we'll just use a line plumb laser and plumb up and drill through the drywall, and that's how we'll find our wire. I'm on our master bathroom side. I am laying out all the vanities exactly down to like the 16th of an inch. That way we can plumb up and find the exact location for the side of the mirrors. I'm marking it on the floor and then using my line laser and plumbing up to get the exact center of these boxes. I'm not entirely confident that this will be exact, but I think it'll be close enough to where you won't be able to tell a difference with your eye. Again, I measured as exact as I could to either side of my pencil line, so I think this will be close enough and a lot more detail than most electricians do. You can see me here standing on the top rung. I've heard a lot in the comments about this, and truth be told, I definitely do not endorse it or recommend it. If you look on the ladder, there's a spot that says do not step, but it's tractioned and it has like grip on the top. So I think they just did that for liability, but if you watch the ladder all through this video, when I'm standing on the top, it is just as sturdy as the other steps. As long as you have the balance and kind of get used to it, it has worked for me this entire house build. The key is just developing something that works for you and repeating it, because that's how you get faster at things. I've fallen off this ladder and the scaffolding each once, so in my book, they are technically tied for safety. Good morning, guys. This is day 4 of electrical. Busted my finger pretty good, so I got it taped up. That way I can still grab staples. Trying to get as much done today as I can, but I have to plow tonight. So I'm probably gonna do some electric till about midday. Then I need to take a little nap. It's kind of beautiful. It's kind of been like spring the past couple days, like 35 is a low. Tonight we're supposed to get 7 to 10 inches, so this place is gonna change. I'm kind of curious if we're actually gonna get it or if the temperatures and the rain are gonna melt it away. But either way, it's gonna be really crappy out, but it'll be perfect for working inside on electric. Here's a word of advice to all the men out there. If you are designing or building a house and you involve your wife in the process, just be prepared for the size of her closet to be 10 times bigger than you're expecting. And you will likely get a small coat closet or other small area in the house to place your clothes. She could probably park an SUV in this. You can see here I have a ton of home runs. I use this clamp just to keep them all out of the way. It was starting to get a little crowded, but I got the biggest residential panel they sell. That way I have plenty of room for all these circuits. This here is her pantry. Again, she designed the size of this. I'm just giving her a hard time. It's all good. We have plenty of space. We wanted a ton of outlets in the pantry. That way we could plug in a bunch of crock pots for big family gatherings or parties. I also use 12 gauge wire in the pantry. That way we could do a 20 amp circuit. That way in theory the crock pots will not trip a breaker. The dogs like to play outside when it's nice out, but when it's cold they come in and cuddle by us.
Hi, I'm Sarah McLaughlin. Will you be an angel for a helpless animal?
Ready for the snow?
Nope.
Harley is. Hank had been here for the past couple days, and little did I know, he was not only chewing the pecs, but foreshadowing. Started vacuuming, and Hank has been sniffing this conduit for the electricity like crazy the past couple days, and I figured there's probably like a mouse or something down in there. I started to vacuum, and I've had a large bag of smoked blue diamond almonds, because those are my favorite out here. The big, whatever, 1 pound or 5, yeah, probably 1 pound bag. And I was like, man, these are going pretty fast. I didn't think I was eating them that fast. Well, I found them. There must have been a mouse hoarding them, because this conduit is full of almonds. That's probably what Hank was smelling. So I'm gonna vacuum it out and see if there's anything on the other side of these almonds. Right there. Oh, that's half the bag. Didn't find a mouse, but got all the almonds out and ready to feed the wire through. This is the kitchen. It was super important to me to get all these boxes exactly level. That's why I use my line laser here, because this entire 28-foot wall is going to have cabinets and a backsplash and a countertop. So if these outlets are not perfect, you will definitely see. The last step for the day was to install these bath fans. This is part of rough electric because it's going to be buried in the drywall. As you can tell, electric is a ton of work and we still have a lot more to go. We have the garage, we have the attic, and we have to go around and make sure we didn't forget anything, like that staple there. If you guys like this video, I would really appreciate it if you hit subscribe. If not, that's no big deal. Building a house isn't for everybody, and honestly, we're pretty much maxed out on subscribers, so we don't need any more. If you did make it to this point, comment "get a haircut." It'll show me that you made it to the end of the video, which helped me probably get 1 penny closer to a haircut, and also it's going to confuse everybody else and make them try to find what the heck you're talking about. We'll see you guys next time, and thank you again for watching. Hello, darling.
I was
Curious about my almonds. I thought you had been eating them. Well, a mouse was hoarding them in the conduit. I'm gonna say the conduit was half full. Yeah, he's got a nose of, he's crazy. I'm curious what I'm gonna find in the next one.